I have 3 amazing shadow work prompts for you to use. So I will be giving those at the end of this live stream. So please do stick around for those. So as the title suggests, in this video, I want to be tackling like our perception of the darkness and our fears and how we can work with Hekate to release ourselves from our fears, or at least begin to heal them, because I know some of us have very irrational fears which sometimes are running the family. Like I know in my family, everybody pretty much has a fear of spiders. Hello, Lisa fan. Hello, Lisa fan. Hello, Ambreen. Hello, Eric. It's lovely to see you all. Thank you for tuning in. So this video is about working with the amazing and powerful triple goddess Hekate. So I do have one of my Hekate statues with me here. So I'll show that to the camera. So this is a beautiful statue of the goddess Hekate. So as you can see, she is holding a flaming torch, and there is 2 dogs on either side of her. She is an amazing goddess. So if, as pagans and witches, we many of you, if you are practicing witches and pagans as well, I'm a Hekatean Witch, hence why I practice worshipping Hekate. So many of us, we have altars. So if you have a statue such as this one, you could place that on your altar. Some people, I know there's some people who actually do something called feeding the statues. So that is kind of like giving them offerings. So I give offerings to the goddess, but I don't specifically give it to the statue. So some people, I believe, they would like pour offerings onto the statue just so that it goes directly to the goddess or deity. So here I have 2 offerings for the goddess Hekate. So here's some olive oil. So olive oil, that I'm going to use that to make another magical oil with it. I'm going to add magical herbs that I have. Here I also have a pomegranate as well. So pomegranates, they are connected with the underworld due to the mythology around Persephone and Demeter and Hades. So the pomegranate is sacred in that way because the goddess Persephone, who was kidnapped by Hades, she ate a couple of the pomegranate seeds, and this meant that she couldn't fully return back to Olympus. So she would have to spend some time in the underworld just because she'd eaten a couple of the pomegranate seeds, which meant she was literally tricked into doing that by Hades. Okay, but that is a tale for another day. So I want to talk about Hekate today. So I have a hymn to Hekate here, which I wrote down. So this is quite an old one. So it says Diadochus hymn to Hekate and Janus. So Janus he's kind of equated with Zeus. Most people have heard of Zeus if you've heard of the Olympian deities, the Greek gods. So Janus is often put into the same category or into the same box as Zeus. And as some of us may know, Hecate has some connections with Zeus because Zeus, unlike the other Titans, Zeus did not try to take anything away from Hecate, any of her dominions, any of her rights, as we would put it these days. She has rights and dominion over the heavens, earth, underworld, sea, and skies. And this is quite special because Zeus was quite famous for stripping these titles and these rights, as we'll put it. He stripped them away from other titans, but he didn't dare do it to Hecate. So that is why it's very interesting, and why Hecate is a very significant deity who's still worshipped in modern days. Oh, you're learning about Persephone. Hello, Olivia. And Hades in school. That is brilliant. I wish I'd learned about Persephone and Hades. I remember I did learn about some of the. I think we mainly just learned the names of the deities, but we didn't really go deeply into the mythology. However, in our school library, we did have some books on mythology, so I did get to read it in my own time. But anyhow, so going back to Hecate, so this is the hymn to Hecate and Janus. Yes, give me your hand, I pray, and reveal to me the pathways of the divine guidance that I long for. Then I shall gaze upon that precious light whence I came, whence I can flee the evil of our dark origin. So it sounds, that last part of that hymn, it sounds quite enigmatic, quite mysterious. What does Diadochus mean when he says, whence I can flee the evil of our dark origin? So if we look into that deeper, it is relating to our humanity and our fears. So as humans, we all have a fight or flight mind frame or mindset. It's natural, it's literally in our genetics. So it's just natural and easy for us to fall quickly into a fight or flight state. So that means we're more easily to react to other people. So if people are triggering us, if they're pushing our buttons, or if we're suddenly thrown into a dangerous or unpredictable experience, say if we're walking home and we see that we're being followed, then we then fall into this, kicks in, the fight or flight kicks in. So we know then we have to either fight or run for the hills. So this is natural. It's literally in our genetics and how we are made up as humans. And because of this also is why we're such worriers and we're so fearful of so many things. So as humans, we have so many fears and so many worries, but it's natural. So don't worry about that. But the goddess Hecate, she is here to teach us that we can control our fears if we try, and if we come to her and ask her for the help to release the fears or to make them more manageable in the worries as well. So this is what Hecate is guiding us into. So this brings us to my next point. So shadow work. As I said, at the end of this video, I will be giving 3 prompts, sorry, not pomps. Psychopomp, that's bringing me to something completely different. So Hecate, so it may be the spirits coming through and telling me that, hey, let everybody else know that Hecate is what is classed as a psychopomp. So this means that, like Hermes, she is able to travel into the underworld, and she takes spirits into the underworld. She can guide them into the underworld, and not many others are able to come and go to the underworld, like as I was mentioning. But This isn't something that was given to her, like I mentioned. She's been able to do this forever. Okay, but yeah, she is a psychopomp. So shadow work, it's very important for us if we're wanting to control our shadow self, and this is this the part of us which is most connected with this fight or flight, or what it is termed the root brain that we have. So that is a scientific term for it, I believe, the root brain. Oh, I kind of like to. I, my personal thoughts on it is that it may connect with the monkey brain as well. So that's kind of like the ego and the monkey brain that's always filling us with chatter, this, that, and the other, and it never stops, never shuts up. And when you're trying to meditate, it just won't shut up. Fear affects us all. Worry affects us all. Stress and negativity, they affect us all. Although they don't need to rule us, we can break these cycles with the goddess's help. Goddess Hecate, she brings her guidance and harmony to end the turmoil, and Hecate will empower us through transformation and through healing. And Hecate is able to give us knowledge of ourselves. And if you remember, like what the ancients have been telling us for a very long time, the ancients have been telling us to know thyself. And this is where Hecate comes in, because Hecate is the keeper of the ancient mysteries. And she she's rooting for us. She wants us to know ourselves and to know the secret mysteries. So it may be that in our human form, we're not able to fully comprehend the full extent of the ancient mysteries, but we are able to reach some form of ascension and enlightenment and gain some form of comprehension of the ancient mysteries with hard work. Okay. And of course with the guidance of the goddess and the god. Okay. So next, I also picked up this here. So I wanted to show you this little trinket that I have here, because I find it very interesting that I have this little trinket. So this trinket here was given to me by my grandmother, or I call her my Nana, Nana Violet. So she gave me this trinket when I was about, must have been like 11 or 12. I think I was aged 11, so I'm quite a lot older than that now. So it's a good 20 years ago when my grandmother gave me this. And I've been working with Hecate for about 16 years now. So I've been working within paganism, witchcraft, and following the guidance of Hecate. And as you can see with this little trinket here, there is a symbolism which is a triple aspected. And of course, the goddess Hecate, she's triple aspected. So it's kind of similar to the triquetra, although I believe this symbol it represents the Isle of Man, or the Isle of Wight, one of those, which is a place that is in England. But it's interesting because I've had this necklace for a very long time, even way before I knew anything about paganism or goddesses. I've had this trinket, and I believe I was meant to have this trinket because it gave me a connection to the goddess Hecate all of those years ago, and ever since I've built a relationship. So each and every one of us, we may get little signs like this. We may have gifts. We may get a t-shirt. We may get a hairpin. We may get a bracelet or a ring or an ornament, a vase, anything. we may receive these little gifts from the most unlikely of places, but it may be that these gifts are secretly kind of like your personal offering, a very special personal offering to the goddess, and it's kind of like your connection with her. And and simply by keeping that, you're helping to grow your connection, and it's just showing that you're respecting the goddess. Today is Hekate Night, so this is a modern day festival for witches, as Hekate is branded as the goddess of all of the witches and the goddess of magic. And of course, she's the goddess of the crossroads. And someone would say she's the goddess of phantoms as well, because she has dominion over the spirits of the dead. So Hecate, she's not a goddess to be trifled with. Some also say that Hecate, if whenever there is some form of, if there is a murder or a serious crime that happens, they say that certain beings, such as the goddess Hecate, they will they will stay around that site for some time because of the huge significant energies and traumatic energies, and even the loss of life. If this has occurred, then the 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 deities or beings, they're attracted to this, and they will then guard over that site for some time. So that is just something interesting about the goddess Hecate. I feel like with our witchy books, I can see why some people put like cross reference them and put like different coloured bits on the ends of the pages so that they can find the correct parts of they can find what they're looking for more quickly. So let's find it now. A lot of these spells were written here like a very long time ago when I first started, because I just absorbed lots of information and just threw it in the Book of Shadows. This is why I'm now working on a grimoire and being more selective, putting stuff that I know that definitely works, it's tried and tested and it works, so it goes in the grimoire. Okay, so here is a justice chant. So yeah, that doesn't mention Hecate. I thought that would actually, because there have been many times Hecate is a great goddess to call upon if you know that you are some of your family members or somebody that you care about, you know that they have been wronged in some way, then you can call upon Hecate for justice. And I've done that many times. And boy, some of the justice that has been delivered, you would not believe. Like one time, one of my mum's boyfriends decided to smash my mum's window. Yeah, I know that sounds ghetto as AF, so that sounds very ghetto, but yeah, my mum's boyfriend smashed her window. Like, this is like at least 15 years ago, so it's quite a long time ago. But he smashed her window. I My mum was quite upset about it and angry, and I the only way I could think of to help my mum get some justice was to cast a spell for justice. So I cast a spell. I asked Hecate to bring him what he deserves, and the next couple of days, his car window, his windscreen was smashed. So that is the kind of justice that you can get when you're working with a deity like Hecate. This one I did write myself. So it's a chief deity of Caria and Greece, Hecate, daughter of Astaria and Perses. I hearken ye, Queen of Witches, Queen of Night, you who hold dominion over life and death, vengeful, victorious wise lady, who controls all paths, I invoke thee. Thrice blessed Hecate Trivia of three roads, your aid I implore. Guard me with thine dagger, illuminate my soul with thine torch, and thine serpent bless me with your wisdom and power. 'Tis after dark, I call thee here, I worship thee, I have no fear. Gracious Hecate, goddess of three, you who unveil all mysteries, hear my plea. Manifest within this circle prepared for thee. When it comes to prayers and calling upon the goddess Hecate, you can use prayers which are written by other people, or you can also just write your own, or you can speak straight from the heart as well. So I did mention that Hekate Night is a modern festival. We can leave offerings to the goddess. We can travel to cemeteries, graveyards, and leave offerings there. It's nice to leave offerings of food. So if you can leave bread or cakes are a good one. If you leave those in the graveyards or the cemeteries or at the crossroads, then obviously when you give an offering to a deity, the energies are absorbed by the deity, but also the food can provide sustenance to the wildlife. So any creatures that are passing by, they can eat the food, and it doesn't do any harm at all. It actually pleases the deities, like it pleases Hecate and any other deity, because the animals are sacred to those deities anyway. Okay. So next, I'm just going to talk about the dark night of the soul. Just quickly, I'm not going to go too deep into this because this is a massive subject. So we would be here all night. So the dark night of the soul. This is kind of like a spiritual awakening, if you will. So the dark night of the soul is like when you kind of feel like you're very like heartbroken, and you're just very lost, and you don't know which way to turn. You just feel like your whole world's upside down. So if you know about tarot, so you're feeling like the Tower card, your whole world is like turned upside down. Have I got that here with me? Probably not. I've got some cards here, but I don't believe it's... Actually, I think this is the Marseille deck. Yeah, this is the Marseille deck. I'll quickly get the tarot. Whoa, that is really freaking weird. It was literally like the second card in the deck waiting. That is so freaky. I love when stuff like that happens, but a little part of me also dies. Oh, shits myself, because that was quite freaky. But anyway, so the Tower card is when things are completely thrown, your world is turned upside down, basically. So it's just nobody wants to see that card in a reading, because but basically it's that same feeling, the dark night of the soul, when your whole world kind of seems like it's been turned upside down. Like you may be falling into a depression. You may feel like you're isolated from other people. You just feel like there's something seriously missing, or there's something seriously wrong or out of balance. So this is what the dark night of the soul is. So when we work with the goddess Hecate, she can give us guidance. She often will give us guidance in our dreams or in meditation. Like one meditation that comes to mind where Hecate has appeared to me is the meditation where you visualize a beautiful large big tree with great big roots which span out quite far in all directions. So the roots are they're quite, they're quite, they kind of like form like a door or a vulva sort of shape. But if when you look through them, you can see that there's like stairs leading you down into the earth. And of course, the earth that is part of Hecate's dominion because she's a chthonic deity, which means she's a deity of the earth, like Demeter or any other deity of the earth. So if you visualize the tree, if you visualize the roots parting, and there's stairs going down deep into the earth. So once you go down deep down into through the stairs, then the goddess usually meets you once you step off the final step and you're under the earth in and that is when I have received guidance from the goddess. So the goddess will give you any form of guidance. So it may it may be different for everyone. So you may not see exactly what I've described to you, or you may receive spirit guidance differently. Some people will have strong feelings, some people will just have a strong knowing about something, or other people will see things, other people will literally hear it. Some people will hear it in the mind, but they will be able to clearly differentiate between their own ego or their own thoughts. They'll be able to differentiate that because they'll know that clearly it's clearly from a different source, and you can tell the most when you're channeling. The easiest way to tell is if something's coming through that's really positive and productive and it's just giving you praise and love, then you can tell that that message is coming through from spirit and from a deity. Whether if something's just sprouting gibberish to you that means absolutely nothing, or if if you're just hearing lots of negative things, and it's clearly coming from either bad a bad source or it's coming from your own ego. So guidance such as that is worthless. Okay, but it just takes practice to discern the difference between that. So I also want to talk about, so we've talked about the dark night of the soul. So working working through meditation and through working with doing shadow work. So this shadow work is working with prompts. So it may be that you write in a journal, or it may be that you write letters to people have who are significant in your life. If you write letters, you don't have to give those letters to the people, and it may be impossible to give the letters to some people anyway because they may not be with you anymore. They may not be physically present. So you can either rip up the letters, you can bury the letters, you can burn the letters, whatever you want you can do with those letters, or those, or if you'd like you can just keep it in your journal. I tend to, when I'm journaling, I can tend to keep it in the book, but there may be certain things that you don't want anyone else to ever read. So if you're journaling something, you're doing some shadow work and you feel like it's very powerful and it's very deep, or it's very dark or disturbing or anything along those lines, then you you're able to just destroy it, burn it, release it, let it go. So this is what shadow work is for. And lots of people do journaling. Journaling is such a cool outlet for many people because it's just so simple. All it takes is a pen and a book, and you can literally, it's literally has the same sort of function as meditation because you're kind of focusing your mind, and it allows creativity to flow, it allows your spirit to flow, and it allows your spirit to heal. So this is why shadow work and journaling is so helpful and useful. So you can use journaling, shadow work, you can use that in conjunction with meditation, and this will help us if we're going through a dark night of the soul, or if we've had a lot of trauma. Put, to put it simply, most people that I know, most people, and I'm sure most people in the world, everyone has some form of trauma in their lives. And the fact that it's a traumatic experience means that the majority of us haven't dealt with that in a healthy way. So we could most likely have buried that, and we don't want to deal with it. And this is where shadow work is useful, because we then can finally give ourselves a moment to heal, to tackle this difficult thing and release it and let go. And as soon as you've processed those emotions that you wanted to cut off and to not feel, as soon as you've actually felt it and dealt with it and let it go, you feel so much better. So I've done a lot of shadow work, but I've not done nearly enough at the same time. So all of us, it's a constant journey, because we all go through life and things don't stop happening to us. So there's always going to be new things that are going to need healing. But this is just life. Earth is a school for us. So we're meant to learn from all of these things. So the important thing is that we're processing emotions and not burying traumatic experiences and not dealing with them. We need to work on feeling the emotion, even if it's painful, but we only have to feel it that once, and then we can release it and let it go, and it will heal. So I know that when it comes to things like grief, believe me, I know stuff like that doesn't go away overnight, but it is best to try to heal it when you're ready, and to just to allow yourself to realize that it does take time, and just to be okay with that. Be okay with, know that you've got all of the time in the world. There's no rush, but you're trying your best, and that is what matters. Okay. So lastly, I just want to talk about the holy dark. So, like I put in the title, Are You Afraid of the Dark? So the dark is always portrayed as evil. So we always think of the light as being good and the dark being bad, or the light being good, or in the dark evil, yada yada yada. So good and bad, good and evil, all of this. So in reality, the dark is not evil. It is just it is kind of a polar opposite. It's just two sides of the same coin. But when I'm saying that the dark is not evil, that doesn't mean that I'm saying that evil does not exist. So when you look at soul types, there's 4 soul types that I'm aware of. So there's evil light, there's evil dark, there's good light, and there's good, dark. So if you look at a deity like the goddess Hekate, she is a good, dark deity, or good, yeah, good, dark. Yeah, I said that right. So because she's a dark goddess, but she is a benevolent goddess. Okay. But the fact, and this is where the holy darkness comes in, but the the tricky thing with Hecate is that she can play both sides of the coin. She can be a vengeance, a vengeance, a vengeful deity, and she can be there. There is infernal aspects of her. If some people, like if you're in infernal witch, some infernal witches will work with like the infernal aspects of Hecate, and she's not the only goddess like that. All deities have different aspects of themselves, and I'm sure that many of them do have infernal aspects as well. So when I'm saying this, I'm not telling everyone to go work with Hecate's infernal aspect or to work with any infernal deity, because I don't particularly work with infernal deities myself. Not that I'm looking down on people that do. I'm just saying that I personally don't. So, but the important thing about Hecate is just being aware that she is light and she is dark, and she's all about balance. And Hecate is the light. She brings the light to the dark places, and it's this light which helps us to release our fears and to heal from our traumas. And this is our goddess Hecate. So this is what the holy dark is all about, because without it's I almost forgot then, but yeah, a spirit's reminding me again. Before I started this live stream, a message came through, and I guess it wanted to be delivered towards the end of this live stream because I'd written it down so I didn't forget about it, but as I was reading my notes I completely missed it. But spirit has just reminded me now. So spirit just wants us all to ponder this popular saying, it's always darkest before the dawn. So just take some time to meditate on this, or ponder that question before you fall asleep and see what comes up. So it is always darkest before the dawn. And that is just how the universe works. It's like the calm before the storm, the darkness before the light. But if you can't be comfortable in the darkness, then you may never get to see the light, or you're not truly deserving of the light, because everybody needs both light and dark. And that's the same for witches. It really pushes my digits when people feel like they have to say, "Ooh, I'm a white witch," and I'm like, "Oh, really?" But because magic is not good or evil, so you don't have to declare yourself a white witch. I understand in a way that some people are worried about them, so people are worried about the perceptions of other people, and they're worried about them being slandered or ostracized in some way. So I understand that. But yeah, so that is the important thing I wanted to give to you there. So that is the message. So lastly, I'm just going to give you the 3 prompts. So feel free to write these down. So these are shadow work prompts. So these are questions that you can write down and take your time to answer. Okay, so number 1 is, pinpoint something that is really frustrating or upsetting. Then either write an uplifting letter to encourage yourself or a beautiful poem about this. And that is number 1. So I'll read that one more time just in case you didn't get it. So pinpoint something that is really frustrating or upsetting. Then either write an uplifting letter to encourage yourself or a beautiful poem about this. Okay, and number 2, if you could say one thing to the person who's hurt you the most, what would it be and why? Okay, so I'll say that again. If you could say one thing to the person who's hurt you the most, what would it be and why? And number 3, what do you currently envy in someone else's life and why? Write down how you would feel if you got what you desired. Okay, so I'll read that one more time. What do you currently envy in someone else's life and why? Write down how you would feel if you got what you desired. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. So also gifts like this, so magical tools, they can be kind of an offering because you devote those tools to the deity as well. So this one here, it has a phoenix on a selenite sword. So this one is devoted to Hecate because it actually looks like dragons actually, but I'm sure it was a phoenix. But whether it's phoenix or dragon, it's still suitable for the goddess. So yeah, you can also dedicate your tools to your patron deity. So if you're working with Hecate, dedicate your tools to them. After you've cleansed them and charged them, dedicate the tool to them. So basically by just saying like a simple spell like Hecate, I consecrate this sword to thee. So you may consecrate it with incense smoke, especially if it's selenite, you don't want to put that in water. So Hecate, I consecrate this tool to thee, as I will, so mote it be. Or fill this. I've forgotten the rest of that. It was something about never let its power wane. Let me take a quick look in the grimoire. Oh, even better, I've got my other little book of shadows here, so I know I can find that. So I believed. Again, with the index, it would be useful. So the Ephesian letters, that came up as well. The Ephesian letters. So if you want to hear what the Ephesian letters are, do check out my other Hecate video, because I do have a couple of other videos about Hecate. So if you check them out, if you check out the other Hecate videos, I believe I do have a Hecate playlist. So if you want to check out the Hecate playlist, you'll be able to find all of the suitable stuff about Hecate together. Okay, so I was just finding this spell. It's not where I thought it was. Have I gone past it? Somewhere right here, I know it is. Okay, so just bear with me one more moment. Okay, so I actually came across a swift move spell. So this calls upon Janus and Hecate again. So it's that same pairing of Janus, Zeus, and Hecate. So it's calling upon those deities to help with moving into a new home. This is so strange. How am I being so blind that I don't? And there's an Orphic hymn to Hecate, but I believe I've read that one out before as well in my other videos. So I'm not going to read it again. Consecrate this tool to be. Where is that? It was triple goddess spell. This is crazy. How can I not find this? Oops. Something's just flown out of the book now. Oh, here it is. I was completely looking in the wrong place. So, Hecate, I ask that you add your power to this tool. Bless it in your sacred name and never let its power wane. I consecrate this tool to thee as I will, so mote it be. So that is the tool consecration spell. Thank you for being so patient. That is the tool consecration spell. So I'll say it one more time. Hecate, I ask that you add your power to this tool. Bless it in your sacred name and never let its power wane. I consecrate this tool to thee as I will, so mote it be. Okay. So do check out some of the other Hecate videos that I have. There's quite a good selection of videos on Hecate and witchcraft, and I'm going to leave it there.